Well, we have the World Cup final this week, and we want to discuss that soccer football is a representation of really our purpose in life, where we have to kick the ball, the earth, into the divine net. And at the same time, you have those on the opposite side who want to kick it into the abyss. And we're seeing that more today, I think, in a certain way, because in the past, what I looked at, some people wanting to kick the ball into the abyss is those who want to behave in whichever way suits them. They don't have an intention of bringing the world anywhere. They just don't care. But now I'm seeing a values. We see a world where the morals and values that Judaism espouses are being ridiculed, and where people try, as a principle, to take the world in a totally opposite direction. I'm talking about areas of traditional families, in areas of gender perspective, that values and what the Torah believes in are totally negated and not only ignored, but fought against. And that is taking the world into the abyss. And our goal, our job is to get that ball away and bring it back into the direction and the perspective of Torah and Judaism godliness. And this also gives us a perspective on Hanukkah. Hanukkah was a war between the Greeks and the Jews, and it would seem that the Greeks would be more consistent with Jewish way of thinking, because the Greeks were people of wisdom, of logic, and Jews are known as Am Chacham V'Navan, a wise people, a people of the book. Why was there such a divide? What was the issue between us? Well, on one hand, the Greeks believed in wisdom and logic, but they didn't believe that that should inform how they live. They believe in wisdom, but as it says, Aristotle or Socrates was once found doing something that was immoral, and he says, "Well, now I'm not Socrates," or not even answering to immoral behavior, because like he said. I teach mathematics. It doesn't mean I'm a triangle. So that's their perspective. That logic and wisdom is a beautiful thing, but it doesn't necessarily inform and force you to live by those values that logic would dictate. And Judaism believes that we have Torah, and Torah means guidance and life, and that what we understand ultimately is the will of Hashem, and the guidance of Hashem has to inform how we live. And there cannot be a disconnect between what the values we espouse and the way we live. We must live consistent with that. And that was really a battle between the Greek way of seeing things and the Jewish way of seeing things. And they felt that we were a danger to their perspective, because we put at the highest point of the totem pole was our belief and our insistence on morals and ethics guiding our life, and that they did not want to accept. As a matter of fact, Hitler, may his name be erased, said this very idea, that he wanted to eradicate conscience from his people, because that was a Jewish construct. That's why our enemies hated us, because we brought a sense of morality and ethics that they didn't agree with, or they didn't agree with the very concept itself. That's what the Jewish way was all about. So let me just conclude with a fascinating story of Hanukkah. This explains, by the way, even today, why there's so many places where there has been such opposition to placing Hanukkah menorahs in public places, in public property. It kind of is subconsciously a continuation of the war against the Jewish way of seeing things. So a colleague of mine, Rabbi Schapiro, is a rabbi in Pasadena, California. And every year he would put up a big Hanukkah in the local shopping center. So this is about 15 years ago, 17 years ago. He gets a call from the shopping center where he normally puts the menorah, and they say to him, this year you cannot put the menorah there. And he asks, hold on, but the Christmas tree is being allowed. He says, Christmas tree is not a religious symbol. It's a festive symbol. Whereas the Hanukkah is a religious symbol, and therefore you're not allowed to put it up. Having no choice, he organized that the Hanukkah event will take place in the parking lot of Chabad House. And he mentioned this in one of his JLI courses that this is what happened. About a week before Hanukkah, he gets a call from one of the newspapers in the city, hearing one of the people who were at the course mention it to a reporter, and the reporter called him, and he says, true? And he says, yes, can I come interview you? And sure, he interviews him in front of a Hanukkah with one of the lamps burnt out. And the next day, the headline in the local paper is, menorah lights out. They write how they allow the Christmas tree and they're not allowed the Hanukkah candles, how the mayor of the city is actually supportive. And the next day, he gets a call from one of the large radio stations in California, KMX, and they asked him for a 30-minute interview, and which he went on to the interview, and they spoke about the Hanukkah menorah and then at the shopping center. 5 minutes after he finished an interview, he gets calls from CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox News. At the end of the day, he brings them all to Chabad House. He speaks to 5 large national TV stations, about what's taking place. One station even sent a reporter to the shopping center to interview shoppers, and they say, yeah, it's anti-Semitic, they allow the tree, they don't like the Hanukkah candles, and some people saying, I don't know if I'm going to come back to the shopping center anymore, and the shop owner saying it's not fair that because of the owners of the shopping center making these decisions that our shop should suffer. Anyway, he gets a call from the vice president of the shopping centers, and he says, there was a big mistake. We want to have you back in the shopping center. He says, well, it's too late. Now I've already advertised this. We're talking about a few days before Hanukkah. It's too late. It's going to cost a lot of money to advertise this, that it's not in Chabad, but in the shopping center. He says, okay, we'll cover. What is it going to cost? He said, $5,000. Okay, we cover the $5,000 to advertise it. And he gets out and he calls one of the news media, and he says, well, they've changed their mind. We're now going to have it there, and tomorrow we're going to have the bringing of the Hanukkah to the shopping center, and everyone brought the cameras, and they make it into an event. And then, of course, he announces the big event is going to be the first night of Hanukkah. It's going to be a huge event, and the large community came to this event, including members of the conservative community, and of course the mayor of the city. And then the headlines of the next day in the newspaper was a picture of the mayor of the city with a fedora hat, dancing on the shoulders of one of the Bachrim. So the ball, they wanted to kick the ball into the other net, and it was transformed and something incredibly positive that probably would never have been as positive had nothing bad happened came to fruition. So as we get to Hanukkah, I wish everyone a happy Hanukkah. Make sure you light your Hanukkah candles every night of Hanukkah. That's the first and most important thing. And make sure you celebrate. You come to our event on Sunday night in the Village Green. We have other events. We have an event in Council on Monday, and events in shopping centers in Chatswood, in Hornsby, Warringa, and Manly. So come and get in contact with us, find out where the Hanukkahs are, and participate. And the bottom line is, take the world and kick it into the divine net by keeping to the values and morals of Torah, of Yiddishkeit, of what Hashem wants from the world and from us. It's Shabbos and happy Hanukkah.